I am the UK Department for Business and Trade Country Director, and my name is Giselle Ajari. A special welcome to the Honourable Deputy Minister of Trade who is here today, Honourable Stephen Omoa, Dr. Stephen Omoa. Thank you for gracing us with your presence. We're very pleased to have you here. And to you distinguished guests who have come today in celebration of Tranzfar's launch in Ghana. As you all know, Ghana is an important partner to the UK, from our shared history to our diaspora community, of which I am a part of. We continue to see Ghanaians choose the UK as their destination of choice. It is no secret that there are strong ties between our two countries, and what Tranzfar brings to the table is an innovative product that seeks to be an alternative to the traditional banking systems offered to us today, and we're excited to be part of that story. I'm sure the team from Tranzfar, Olusiji and Ryan, will be able to tell you a lot more detail about the product, and so I hope you will find them afterwards to speak. That being said, I believe this is a useful tool for all of us in Ghana that continue to maintain links with the UK, considering it a home away from home. At the UK Department for Business and Trade, and indeed all of His Majesty's government present in Ghana, we are keen to support UK businesses who export to and invest in Ghana. In collaboration with the UK-Ghana Chamber of Commerce, we enable businesses to thrive in Ghana and deepen the relationships between our two countries. This is particularly true with Tranzfar, whose with this innovative product will allow their customers easy access to meet their needs and obligations in the UK from anywhere in the world. With UK expertise and the many opportunities in Ghana, we can continue to promote our mutual prosperity. Even in the economic downturn, we continue to see the eagerness of UK companies wanting to invest and trade with their counterparts in Ghana, and this is something we continue to encourage. I cannot emphasize the importance of capital inflows to support the growth and recovery of the economy. Fintech innovations are a great example of this, an integral part of the financial services ecosystem. We look forward to Tranzfar joining the community of innovators who provide this critical service to the good people of Ghana. I'd like to say a huge congratulations to Tranzfar, and we hope to see the team thrive in Ghana, as well as expand their product offerings. So thank you all for being here today.
Thank you, Giselle. I think for the next item, I would like to introduce Mr. to give us his remarks.
Mr. Olusiji Sanya, I hope I got it right. Madam Giselle Ajari, high table or protocols observed. It's a big pleasure having this opportunity to be here this morning, simply because of what is of interest to us today and the reason we are here. Once again, I would like to say good morning to each and everyone here. And I also extend my warmest greetings to all of you. Your presence today signifies your commitment to driving progress, disseminating knowledge, and fostering collaboration in our ever-evolving financial landscape. I must additionally commend Tranzfar for their visionary effort in conceptualizing and bringing to fruition the Freedom Bank account. In an era where global connectivity and financial inclusivity are paramount, the introduction of this innovative digital banking platform aligns perfectly with our nation's aspirations for growth and development. The platform's focus on providing a secure and efficient means of access to global banking infrastructure is not only timely, but also addresses a critical need for our diverse population. The need to provide a secure and safe United Kingdom banking. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to continue myself, if you allow me. I think I have the concept now. And the concept, in my opinion, is one of the most important things we need, particularly in developing economies such as Ghana. I have the opportunity to listen to those who make this great initiative. And trust me, it's long overdue that a country such as Ghana, where we've gotten to as a developing economy, we will be better placed when it comes to global integration, particularly when it comes to issues of finance and banking. I had the opportunity to be in UK before I went to even university. And one of the setbacks for people like us in those days and even now was as to how you would have the opportunity to open bank account and transact businesses. Sometimes you had to depend on a friend and a relative. By the time you realize your money is gone. It also actually impaired our relationship economically and financially with these developed economies that we depend on most of the times as individuals and as a country and as a group and businesses. So when they spoke to me about it, I was in my mind, I said, wow, I'm learning to reduce my animation and emotion. So they didn't know I appreciate that much. But trust me, we all have to accord them the needed cooperation and support, because this is what we need as a developing economy. This is what every entrepreneur, every investor, every company, every country needs, because the globe has become a small village. I can't remember, I think 2006, Tony Blair, then the Prime Minister, made a statement, and I've never forgotten. He said that the continent Africa had become a scar on the conscience of the globe. And some of these statements, if you want to go deep into it, not necessarily because we were enslaved, but because we are far behind, because we cannot rub shoulders with the world. Before you even transfer money in our country, you know what happens. So it is something that is timely, it is correct, it is feasible, and it is something that I think the government will have to support. My minister, myself, and my government at the top, we are going to make sure that we support this very good cause. And I entreat every Ghanaian, especially the young ones coming up in businesses, to welcome this good idea and make sure that as a country, it comes to stay. I think they are doing it first in Ghana, right? We are blessed. We always say that Ghana is the gateway to Africa. And of course, you realize that anything that is done in our country becomes successful, especially issues such as this, because of the peace, the tranquility, the coexistence that we have, which is one of the most paramount ingredients of any economy to grow and attain stability. Having read the entire thing, forgive me, but I think the import or the summary of what they want to do is to come and establish this opportunity of you live in Ghana, you don't need address elsewhere. You can open account, you can do e-banking, you can do all sorts of businesses. What I've realized is that it's going to really enhance entrepreneurship. Already we have very weak entrepreneurship ecosystem or entrepreneurial ecosystem. Interactions between and among actors within the ecosystem, whether institutions or individuals, we have a lot of problems. But today, we can actually sense and feel hope. The young Ghanaian entrepreneur, the young investor, the Ghanaian company can now have hope. We can see and feel that something is coming out from these young men. It is something that all of us must cooperate. And anybody that will be found along this value chain should please try not to disgrace Ghana, but to accord them the needed support to ensure that it will become very fruitful. Apart from that, I can assure them that I will take it up with the finance ministry, because I work closely with them, and I'll make sure that I also talk to them and make sure that whatever assistance that they want to give you, I also happen to work with GCB as a board member, but I don't have control over all this, except that I'm an integral stakeholder. I'll talk to them and make sure that we rally on board all the relevant stakeholder individuals and groups and bodies and authorities to support this very good cause, so that very soon Ghana and the world can be in a relationship that can enhance any form of businesses. Without saying much words or continue what I'm saying, I would like to say that please stick to this good vision. Work hard. Definitely there will be impediments in your ways. Definitely it's going to be hard sometimes. You seem to be getting close to failure, but that's not true. It's good. With the help of God, prayer and faith and hard work, you are welcome. Ghana is a home. I mean, no, haven't seen anywhere in the world that the good people of this country, we even love those coming from outside more than ourselves. It's a place that when you are here and you identify the right people to work with and the right environment and opportunity, there's nowhere in the world that you can do business better than Ghana. And the people here are very sweet. Forget about sometimes the politics you see. Major two political parties, we are friends. We do a lot of things together. It's a place that you have your peace, you have the support, and you can grow. Our democracy is of age, about 30 years in an African economy. So I can assure you that as a deputy minister, representing my minister here and my government, we will support you. We will support you. And I'm on Parliament Finance Committee. I will sell this idea because we need it. It's long overdue. And I'm sure it will reduce most of the Herculean task of doing businesses outside when it comes to banking. And we have other fintech groups here that I'm sure you guys will work with. But I can assure you, ladies and gentlemen, let us support this good cause. Let us be part of this good cause. And let us not disgrace Ghana. And make sure that Africans will look to us as even a model that they will want to follow. Thank you. God bless UK. God bless Ghana. God bless the world. Thank you very much. Sorry. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. I think the Honorable Minister has made a very good case for this product. I am thinking of signing up myself now. I have to quickly do that. So I think next on our roster, I'll be inviting Dr. Sanya and Ryan Romeo. So Ryan is the CEO of Tranzfar, and Dr. Sanya is the Chief Financial Officer. Thank you.
That's better. Good morning, everybody, and thank you very much for attending this event of ours. It's a great pleasure to have you here. It's our first time here in Ghana. The people are very hospitable, and we look forward to speaking and working with as many of you once this event is done. I'd also like to thank Giselle and Dr. Stephen Amoa for attending this event. Thank you very much for your speeches, and we're very encouraged by your kind words. As Kwame has mentioned, my name is Ryan Romeo, and I'm the CEO at Tranzfar. So what is Tranzfar, and who are we, and why are we here today? We're a fintech company based in London, and we set out in 2017 to connect Africa with the rest of the world via financial services. Today, we come with a new product, the Freedom Account. And what the Freedom Account is set out to do is to liberalize global banking infrastructure to the world, developing entities in Africa, followed by Asia, Latin America. We're telling people that we deserve to be banked globally, to have full access to full-fledged banking services, and to be able to offer these services to private and public entities alike. So if we can start by going to the next page, and we'll start the presentation.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Olushi Jisanya, CFO at Tranzfar. I'll be running through our product in a bit more detail. And of course, look forward to interacting with you after the presentations. Thank you. So as Ryan has spoken about the company Tranzfar and the vision and the spirit behind what we're doing, but the ultimate goal and our vision is really to connect the global diaspora to their home bases. And we've started this journey from Africa, and for us it's significant that we're starting to launch the Freedom product from Ghana. just like the minister said, is the gateway to the continent. It has a track record of stable environment, integrity, and cutting-edge regulatory and business environment. Can I have the next slide, please? Thank you. So the Freedom Bank account, as Ryan mentioned earlier, is a simple product. And the spirit and philosophy behind the product is this. It doesn't matter where you're based physically, that is where you live, or where you come from. We believe that having access to global banking infrastructure is a fundamental human right. And that is the concept of freedom. That's why we call it freedom. Meaning every human being on the surface of the earth is free to bank at the highest level. What freedom does is to give the user access to the best banking experience possible anywhere in the world. This is a UK bank account, a real bank account to emphasize, not a virtual account. We know that a lot of fintechs push virtual accounts, but this is a real bank account. And why is that significant? What's the difference? With a real bank account, each account basically stands for itself, and it's not like a software demarcation under a mother account like virtual accounts operate. This account is real to the effect that each bank account holder has their deposits protected under the UK's Financial Services Compensation Scheme up to £80,000. And that's where it's different from a virtual account where there's no protection. Also, with this bank account, you have access to UK faster payments, which facilitates instant payments between UK bank accounts. You have access to BACS, CHAPS. You can set up standing orders and direct debits within the United Kingdom.
Another thing I'd just like to add to that is via the accounts, you're also able to send money to 90 countries plus via SWIFT. Also, there's a Euro account, there's a USD account, so there's access to SEPA, which is the EU's instant payment system as well. So what we're saying is that you have access to a full catalog of payment systems globally.
Okay, so I'll talk about some of the reward incentives. So with the way this account is set up, because it's a subscription-based account, we basically incentivize the user to basically tell their friends. So basically what we are saying is, if you're a subscriber to this product, you're not supposed to keep it to yourself as a secret. And there's an incentive to basically, as they say, tell your friends and enemies, in quotes. But the concept of the reward scheme is that for each time you make a referral, you're actually rewarded with a cash payment back into your account to say thank you for telling your friend.
If you can go back to the previous slide, please.
Yes. So basically, there are three major subscription options. There's the annual, quarterly, and monthly options. And of course, they give you access to similar features. With the monthly option, you basically subscribe for 2 months upfront. Now, the basic option is mainly available to UK residents. The way it works is you have to use a minimum deposit. But for the other options available to everywhere in the world, a minimum deposit is not required. Next slide, please.
So we have an incentive scheme which is meant to encourage and obviously incentivize people to spread the word and also earn value as they're spreading the word as such. So for every user that you recommend, £20 accrues to the recommender. And obviously you can see by the numbers here that there's plenty of potential for value growth and establishment across the board.
So something to just mention about this is one of the things we've come to Ghana to do, apart from introducing the product, we're actually here to partner. As the Honorable Deputy Minister said, we are here to speak to Ghanaian companies, fintechs, and of course, there is a partnership and reward structure that is linked to those conversations. We want to make sure we're here in Ghana to partner. We're also bringing value to the table and leaving value in the system, more importantly, because the philosophy is for freedom, but there must also be fairness and there must be local impact.
So what is the process for integrating and for becoming a partner with Tranzfar? The first stage is the new partner stage, which is variously established, usually by referrals, introductions, or as some of you have come today, via indirect contacts. Once that's established, we progress to stage 2, which is the
partnership proposal.
So that's based on, well, it's very idiosyncratic depending on who we're speaking to and the partner, but we try and tailor a mutually beneficial solution. Depending on your needs as an entity and a company, we're happy to basically establish commercial relationships that are mutually beneficial as such.
Next, please. Right. So, actually, can you go for the next one?
Next one, sorry.
Right. So the next stage is the onboarding. Of course, you need to know us, and we need to know you. So at this stage, we do mutual due diligence, right? You get to know about us, our owners, our shareholding structure, our financials, who we are regulated by, and we also get to know you in this phase to make sure that, of course, you are protected and we are protected as well. So we go through this onboarding process, KYC, mutual due diligence, until we reach a point of mutual satisfaction and validation.
So once the onboarding has been completed, a legal agreement is drawn up based on what has been agreed, the terms and conditions. And once that's signed off, we move on to the integration stage, which is usually via introduction to our tech team, your own IT team. We try and integrate via web, mobile, are the more popular ways we try and integrate, and we take it from there, basically.
So just to say a bit more about the integration. So we integrate mainly via APIs. And as Ryan said, our technology team speaks to your technology team or resource persons, and you integrate into our system. Now, this partnership process, we refer to it in-house as Tranzfar as a service, because we're plugging into like-minded companies who can then offer our product to their users in a way that is mutually beneficial. And so this API integration process, there will be a bit of hand-holding where we work together with you. A team starts with you, the engineering team from the beginning. We walk you through the whole process of integration. We do a joint testing before we then go on to live deployment, where you can now actually offer our product. And just to mention something quickly, at the point of once we basically get introduced to you, there is a dedicated business manager that walks you through the entire journey and owns the fact that you must end that journey successfully and as seamlessly as possible.
So this is just an example of what the platform looks like from some of our current partners. As you can see, you have your banking, send money option, and it's quite intuitive. And one of the interesting things about the relationship management is that we're looking to build upon your feedback. So if by chance you figure there are better ways that this can be presented to your customers specifically, then we're happy to make those changes to suit your needs. So,
next slide, please.
Well,
this slide is about us. You've probably met us. But just to probably say a little bit about us before we start. Ron and I used to be in the oil industry in the UK. Before we decided that our mission in life was to basically connect, especially the African diaspora back home. Of course, that mandate has now mainstreamed as we're trying to now connect the global diaspora to their home bases as our capacity, our exposure, our experience, and of course, our recognition by various governments has been increased. Just for context, we are regulated in about 33 countries all over the world. We have direct regulation in the United Kingdom, in Australia, in New Zealand, in Canada, in the US, and across all 27 EU countries through partnerships. So we have some FAQs here, and we'll probably just run through the key ones, which might potentially proactively answer some of the questions that you have. So how do I open a Freedom Bank account? If you go onto our website, tranzfar.com, you can basically sign up via the website or download our mobile app, which is available on Android or iOS, and start the journey. Now, to give you a sense of what do I expect in the journey, what do you mean by the journey? The journey basically starts with onboarding. Of course, this is a digital bank and it's a financial platform, so we need to know who we are dealing with. And the way we do that is we use biometric-based electronic KYC and AML. So we accept your sort of government ID, we validate your address, we know that you are a real person, and of course, you are recognized by your government as a real person that is good standing. Once all that is verified, you go into subscription phase and you're allowed to use the service seamlessly. Okay. And then the next question, is there a subscription? Yes, there's a subscription. There was a previous slide that sort of laid out the monthly, quarterly, and annual options, so I wouldn't repeat that again. What can I do with my Freedom account? We spoke about that earlier. You can do payments anywhere in the UK. You can receive payments from anywhere in the UK. You can set up direct debits, standing orders. You can send international payments to over 90 countries using the international payment feature and many other features. We're introducing a virtual card that will allow you to make online transactions from anywhere in the world.
Just to add to that point as well, obviously there are many use cases for this product. One being that we've heard a lot on ground so far is education. So those who are traveling abroad, they have children abroad, and they would like to be able, their child to be able to land abroad and have the infrastructure set up immediately. So as well as the virtual card, we're looking into introducing the physical card as well, which can be recognized obviously internationally. We've noticed that with some existing accounts or banks in Africa, sometimes certain merchants abroad do not recognize it or treat it equally. So what we're looking to do is to partner with institutions here so that this access is granted across the board.
So one other quick use case that we've seen is the use case of freelancers. So they're upstanding tech and other professionals in Ghana who are freelancers. That means they're based in Ghana, but they're remotely working abroad. So first of all, the Freedom account offers an easy, instant location to receive those payments. So if somebody's paying you in pounds or in dollars, where do you collect it? You can collect it into a Freedom account. And then, of course, with the international payment feature, you can send your CDs to your local account by yourself. Right. Can I sign up from can I sign up for a Freedom account from any country? I think the simple answer is yes. What options do I have to fund my Freedom account? So this is a very good question. For us, there are two major ways you can fund your Freedom account. The first way is basically to get GBP paid in from the UK or anywhere else. You can also fund it via a Visa or MasterCard enabled debit card. And that should be, so once you get on the platform and you go to the Fund My Account section, you will see the two viable funding options that you can use.
I think it's also important to clarify that we do not collect CDs from Ghanaian citizens directly. So as Olu has mentioned, you would either have to basically go through your existing banking infrastructure to send the dollars, pounds, or euros directly via international SWIFT, or, as he mentioned, you probably have some relatives or informal connections abroad that are able to help you make that payment on your behalf. But we do not collect CDs directly from Ghanaian citizens.
Yeah. Thank you for that, Ryan. The last question, I'm sorry, I'm struggling to see this. It says, can I earn money with my Freedom account? And the answer also is yes. As I mentioned at the beginning of the presentation, we want you to tell a friend to tell a friend. And in that process, we have referral options where you can refer a friend. And as a thank you, we basically pay some money back into your account for referring a friend. I don't think there are any other slides after this, but we can just check. I think we're pretty much done. Thank you. That's better on the eyes. Okay, so...
Number 9.
Sorry?
Protection.
Okay, I'll just jump to number 9. I think the answers to number 7 and number 8 are pretty clear and straightforward. But I'll jump to number 9, which is very important. Of course, anybody that is parting with their money and using a banking platform wants to understand the kind of protections they have. So I'll speak about protection in 2 ways. So firstly, this account sits from a regulation or jurisdiction standpoint of view, sits within the United Kingdom, is protected by the Financial Conduct Authority and the Prudential Regulatory Authority, and of course, which is plugged into the Bank of England. So I think we need to make that absolutely clear. But what does that all mean to me as a user? What it means is your deposits are protected by the UK's Financial Services Compensation Scheme, FSCS. Your deposits are protected up unto £80,000. So I think I want to make that as clear as possible. So can I make payments to people who do not have a Freedom account? In principle, the answer is yes. You can make payments to anybody within the United Kingdom, and you can use the international payment feature to make payments to anybody in the world. Okay, so the answer to this question is yes. Can it be used to pay salaries for remote or freelance workers? Yes, I explained that earlier. And then there's also a key question here that we received in terms of probate scenarios. So obviously, in the unfortunate event that a Freedom account subscriber passes on, we have the infrastructure to engage with the probate process to make sure that we release the funds to the appropriate people. Are there any other slides, please? Right. Okay. Okay, I saw that question. It says, how many currencies can I access via the Freedom account? You can make payments to about 90 countries. So in principle, you can access several. Of course, the core currencies that will be held on the Freedom account will be GBP, which is the main base, and then eventually UK, USD, and euros. But of course, from that account, you're able to make payments to several other currencies, including Ghanaian cedis. Okay, final question. Can I use my Freedom account for crypto and gaming purposes? We currently don't support crypto and gaming directly. So you can make a payment to any account that is good standing anywhere in the world, but we don't proactively support crypto or gaming transactions because our risk appetite is outside that. As of today, things can change tomorrow. So I think that's about it.
Yes, I think those are all the slides for now. We're happy to take questions. I think there's an FAQ session which will happen after a short break. But I'll hand over to Kwame, if he's around.
And of course, thank you for your patience and thank you for listening to us.
Okay, Charlene is coming. So. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Ryan and Dr. Sanya, for that wonderful presentation. I think it was very informative. I think at this time we'll be inviting the Honorable Deputy Minister to come forward, and we'll be doing an official launch of the Freedom Bank account. So can we have the Honorable Minister?
I think today we all have been very fortunate to witness this wonderful thing. The name alone, freedom. Who doesn't want freedom? I think it's the seed that based on which even the whole world was created. So if we have account that is telling you freedom account, we are all free financially, except you're a lazy person. You have to work hard, get money, and work with C nicely. And normally I believe in things in blue and white. They are sober, results-oriented, formidable, sustainable. So today, in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, we launch Freedom Bank account by Tranzfar. Hip, 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 hip.
Hooray.
Hip, 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 hip.
Hooray.
Please forgive me if I made a mistake. Thank you. God bless you. We are so grateful. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. So it's duly launched. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Yes, I guess finally I can sign up for my Freedom Bank account, right? Yes. So next we would have a photo session and then an interaction with the founders to get to know them a little better and also get to know the product in further detail. So thank you all for coming. It's been wonderful having you here at the High Commissioner's residence, and we look forward to meeting you again soon. Thank you. So yes, please, questions and answers at this point.
Afternoon, guys. So I use a Revolut account. So if I look at the offering, it's quite similar to Revolut, Monzo, and a whole host of others that you see around the world. First thing, I think, what would be the main difference between, so someone like me who uses Revolut, what would sway me, apart from earning the £2 million for referrals, what would be the real incentive for me to switch? And then the second thing, is this targeted at people who don't have accounts like this? Like I've been fortunate enough to be able to because of circumstance and whatever. Is it more targeted towards people who haven't had the opportunity to have an account like that?
Thank you very much for your question, and thank you for listening as well. So I think you kind of answered the question already. So you have a Revolut account, and that's because you probably have a valid UK address, which can be validated. But of course, this product is for people, as you mentioned, who do not have a UK residence. And we don't want anybody to need to sort of make up a UK address. We're saying that legitimately, with your regular Ghanaian address and details, you can get a UK bank account. Of course, this never used to be possible. So the uniqueness is that it is legally and legitimately possible to be a Ghanaian resident, but to own and operate a UK bank account legally and properly. So we've had scenarios where some people just make something up, but there's no need to do that anymore. Freedom is here.
I get it.
To liberate you. Yeah, thank you.
And then, sorry, just follow up quickly. So with the address, is it what address are you using? Is it the Ghana Post addressing system?
Yeah, so we have an electronic KYC system that will interact with you, ask you for the details, probably some government ID, which you will check biometrically. We'll also do like a facial check. And once all that matches up and some other checks, the system seamlessly lets you on.
Oh, nice. Well done, guys.
Thank you, sir.
So another key difference is that as a company, we're trying to basically further integrate into Africa in terms to sort of lubricate the system and make it a lot more seamless internally as well. So that is intra-Africa as well. So unlike companies like Revolut, TransferWise, who make it very clear that they send to hundreds of countries, they're mainly sort of focused on EU and more established, and they look at Africa as more sort of high risk, and they're not willing to sort of expose themselves fully. We are saying that this is our sort of bread and butter, and we want to be able to expose ourselves fully to the continent as such. So basically onboarding Ghanaians, Nigerians, Kenyans, etc., that's the foundation of the business, and that's why we're launching it in Ghana today. So.
Okay, thanks. I'll echo what he said. Brilliant presentation and congratulations. What I wanted to ask is if somebody can now have a bank account in the UK as a Ghanaian, would they also be able to benefit from the credit system as well? Would they go onto the credit rating system, or is there any kind of facilities that after a while that they'll be able to do overdrafts and stuff like that on the account?
So as of today, that is not possible, but those are things that are in the works. And of course, as a Freedom account subscriber, as those updates come through, you start to see them. So ultimately, as I said earlier, we plugged in a virtual card, and the other things we want to plug in. In the case of the sort of credit facilities, we'll have to plug in, for example, into the local credit bureau, because, of course, the person's financial history needs to be known globally. But these are things that we want to do, because the idea is to remove barriers and genuinely empower ourselves to be able to bank globally. So it's coming. We don't have it today, just to be clear, but these are things that we're working on. And as Ryan said, these are risks that we're willing to take, and some of those other sort of Europe or Western-centric brands won't touch at all.
right, great questions all around. Okay, I have one more back here.
Hi, thanks for the presentation. A quick question. If Ghanaians are allowed to open a UK account right here, how are you managing fraud, anti-money laundering, all those issues? Thank you.
So thank you for that question. So first of all, on the AML side, the anti-money laundering side, we use different types of infrastructure to basically check. So for example, we check on sort of PEP and sanctions lists globally to see if any user, whether they be Ghanaian or wherever, even if they are British users, we check if you're on a PEP or sanctions list. Obviously, if you are, it's most likely that we wouldn't offer the account. So we do those checks. We do standard electronic KYC checks, biometric checks as well. Now, in terms of fraud and security platform, which is a slightly different question, we have sort of multiple layers of security that are sort of regularly checked, validated, and audited. And of course, we operate to the very highest standards in terms of platform security. So I think I can confidently say that in the history of setting up the platform, we've not had any issues. And of course, it's an ongoing effort, and our job is to make sure we stay on top of it.
Yeah, excellent. Any more questions on the floor? Okay, I have one here.
Okay. Thank you very much. My name is Paul. So how do we convince our fellow Ghanaians that this is really genuine and so they should come on board? Can you give us any examples or individual experiences that other people have had concerning your platform?
Sure. I mean, the first thing I would do is to direct anybody with an interest to our review platforms. We have Trustpilot, we have iOS, Google reviews, and what you'll find is that overall we're rated very highly. We're looking at 80 to 90% scores across the board, and the list of individual stories, anecdote stories of experiences that people have had and what the accounts and the services have been able to do for them to date. Secondly, we have a 24/7 customer service that is accessible globally, and we're happy to take questions on any items to instill that confidence in any individual at any time of the day, including right now, for example. Any questions are able to be answered. Thirdly, the features that we have are relevant to those here. There are many case uses that can be used in various industries across the board. So there's a lot of relevance that can be had to multiple people. So like I said, encourage them to sign up, to try it out, and obviously we're always one phone call away to advise should any issues occur.
So just to add something to that, I think as of this morning, we commissioned the creation of a local customer service number, and we expect that to be available within the next 48 to 72 hours. And that's our commitment to make sure that a Ghanaian user is not stuck without access to us. And by provision of that local customer service extension, a Ghanaian user is plugged into our 24-hour customer service system. To mention something, given the example of Revolut, even though obviously it's a European-focused brand, many of those platforms only give people customer service via chat. We've deliberately ensured we're accessible to speak to 24 hours. That's just because we want to ensure that people can trust us, there's that connectivity. Even if there are any issues, you always know the status of your transaction, and you can always speak to a real human being, not a robot, not an AI bot. A real person can tell you, this is what is going on.
Then I'm particularly interested in how it is going to impact the Ghanaian economy. What positives do we stand to gain?
Yes, that's a very good question. So the account basically, within Ghana, within Africa as a whole, is supposed to promote trade, international trade, for merchants, SMEs, for those who are looking to sort of promote their own services as well, the service economy. And as you mentioned, freelancers also. So naturally, it almost creates a new window of opportunity for the average person, a new customer base, and new lines of communication as well that are accessible financially. And obviously, off the back of that, potential growth depending on where he or she would like to lead that conversation to go. So I believe that the potential is unlimited, and the growth prospects are highly exponential. So, thank you.
Excellent question.
Just to add 2 points to that, there are two very obvious ways that this can add value to the Ghanaian economy. By giving, I talked about the freelancers earlier. So by giving a Ghanaian citizen, a Ghanaian entrepreneur, SME, the opportunity to have a UK bank account with potential USD and Euro extensions, technically that person has been empowered to export services, right? Because it means I can be based in Accra, and I can be offering training and other services abroad and get paid easily into my UK bank account. So by so doing, we are facilitating the export of services, of Ghanaian products, of Ghanaian services and products. It makes it easier, because one of the easiest excuses is, it might not be easy to pay and things like that. That's the first leg. The second leg is we're here to build partnerships with local businesses who can also offer on our product to their customers. And as I mentioned earlier, it's supposed to be mutually beneficial in the financial level. It's a subscription-based product, and we expect that our partners will also benefit financially, and that value stays here in Ghana.
We have one more question here.
This looks like a tough one.
She's done it again. I don't know what's happening here. But no, we were just talking about amongst ourselves about who this is really for. You know, is it the everyday Ghanaian, or is it the business, or is it the freelancer, as you mentioned? So,
yeah.
But then, even as a freelancer, let's assume I was a freelance graphic designer and I'm doing some work for someone in Germany or UK or whatever. If that, when that money gets paid in pounds or euros or whatever, hits the account, how do I use it here? Does it cash out into a mobile money, or do I link it to a local account? How do I get my CDs to give someone, or do I have to go to an ATM, and how long does it take?
That's a very good question. On the first point you made about who is it targeting, that's exactly what it's set up to do, basically. So in certain economies, especially in Africa, the way it works is that people who have access to foreign accounts tend to be have a certain wealth threshold. They're usually people who already have properties or have vested interest abroad, and they're not for the average person who has had no exposure internationally. What we're saying is, via this account, none of those things matter anymore. As long as you're able to go to the KYC and be onboarded fairly, then you have full access to what the same gentleman or lady abroad has access to. Sorry. The second question is that you can pay out basically to Africa instantly. Currently in Africa, we pay out to Kenya, Ghana, and Nigeria, and those payments go instantly. So if you earn in pounds, if you earn in dollars, if you earn in euros, you can make those payments to a CD's accounts, to a CD's mobile wallets instantly as well. So that's interestingly, initially, that's sort of what we started before we became a banking platform. So that is very much there, and the foundation and the infrastructure for that is there already.
So I would like to ask, is there any limit of transferring money? Like if you want to transfer outside, is there a limit, minimum or maximum limit you can transfer?
So, so as we mentioned earlier, so just to clarify, are you referring to sending money, loading your account from here? Yes. So, okay, fine. So, as we mentioned earlier, you're able to use existing infrastructure and services to top up that account. The account itself, as we mentioned, we have deposit protection up to 80 to 85,000 pounds in itself. But from a KYC perspective, on a per transaction basis, we have a limit of around 5,000 pounds per transaction. However, you're able to exceed that basis sort of extra KYC approvals. So, for example, we've had people who have mentioned about things like paying for education, investing abroad, investing in property abroad. Obviously, we understand that those payments exceed that limit. We're happy to facilitate that payment, but obviously we'll run through additional checks to ensure that it's our fiduciary duty to do so and that everything is legitimate. But yes, so that's the initial limit, but we're happy to approve payments that exceed that in itself.
Okay, I think we have one last question here, and then we'll move on to networking. I mean, you can always ask your questions as you network, right?
Almost done.
Hello, good. Sorry, I was a bit late, but I just have a small question.
No worries.
Okay, so since I'm in Ghana, I'm based in Ghana, if I'm going to make a transfer from my Ghanaian account to the mobile
Freedom account, yeah.
to Freedom account.
Yeah.
If I may ask, is there any regulatory body? Are you doing anything like with any Ghanaian regulatory body, financial regulatory body? I don't know if my question is.
Yes, that's a perfectly good question, and I'll pass it over to my regulatory experts.
And also, I also want to find out, are you liaising with any financial institution, any bank, any Ghanaian bank in the UK and in Ghana?
Thank you. Those are very great questions. So I guess under your first question was basically to do with whether we were, if you wanted to send money from Ghana to that account. So as I mentioned earlier, you basically can send money from here into that account using existing local infrastructure. And the reason why we emphasize that is to make sure that if you're sending money out of Ghana, you're doing it the right way. I think that's very important to us. So that's the first thing. Of course, there are many other ways to top up the account. You can basically do it by asking somebody in the UK to top up for you. If you want to send money from here, you do that, but you use the existing local banks or local ways of sending. Okay.
And just to clarify that point directly on the regulatory aspect, the reason why we do that is because the account in itself and the regulatory cover for the account, it's a UK account, funds are protected and covered in the UK itself, and so therefore we acknowledge that as a Ghanaian who has CDs, we cannot collect that money directly from you. However, you are free to send that money using existing infrastructure that is very fully regulated here in this country. And so that's how it works.
I was asking, how does it make you competitive in the market?
How does Freedom make us competitive in the market?
Yes.
That's a good question.
If I have to use a local platform.
So Freedom bank account, I guess one thing we need to be clear about is we're offering digital banking service. We're not necessarily offering an FX service. I think we need to be careful about that. So what we are saying is we're offering you a banking platform as opposed to FX conversion. So for your FX conversion, you will need to follow the BOG regulated platforms and processes to then get your FX out. So I think it's very important to make that point. Of course, we want to make sure we're on the right side of the local laws. Now, in terms of partners, you mentioned, are we speaking to any local Ghanaian banks? One of the things we're here to do is to actually sign a number of partnerships. One thing that is core to our philosophy is to make sure that we're partnering with local, good-standing financial institutions, telcos, and fintechs to be able to obviously push the reach of Tranzfar. So before we leave Accra, we would have basically signed MOUs and etc. with local. Obviously, I don't want to mention any names yet, but there are a few things in the pipeline. So that's one of the things we're here to do. Partnerships, partnerships, partnerships. I hope that addresses all the questions that were asked. I want to make sure that those responses are satisfactory. Is that a yes?
I think we're good.
Okay.
On this side.
Thank you.
So I think, yes, I understand that there are more questions on the floor, but we'll keep that for the networking session, so it's more interactive.
I'll walk around to take any other questions.
Excellent.
I'll make sure I respond to all questions.
Once again, I'd like to thank every single person who has made it here today. It means a lot to us that you took the time out to learn about this product. We really, really do hope that you stick around for us to conversate, to find out more about what you do and how we can assist and how you can assist as well. We believe in mutual partnerships, and we want a long-term relationship with everybody that has attended today. I'd like to once again thank the Deputy Minister of Trade, Dr. Stephen Amoah, and Country Director for Business and Trade, Giselle. Thank you very much for helping to open up the events. And thank you very much. And I think after we have some photo sessions and obviously drinks and nibbles, and let's network and get to know each other a lot more. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you, Judge.